Never lose yourself in a crowd. I feel like these are words that I've had to learn throughout the years. And I feel like it's so hard to do that. And I think I'm still learning how to do this. I feel like when you've grown up as an extrovert and you have such a excitement when you're around people and you're around friends and you love talking to people, like it just makes you happy. It lights you up and it makes you kind of happy throughout the day when you're talking to people, when you're having a good time with your friends. And everyone wants to have a good time with their friends. It just kind of makes their day. But I feel like it's also so easy to lose yourself with your friends or to get peer pressured into things that your friends want you to do or just to make the moment more enjoyable or more memorable. And I feel like for me, it was really hard to not be a people pleaser. It was really hard not to want to do what my friends wanted me to do or wanted to do in the moment because I just wanted to enjoy the moment or I just wanted to be more likable and to be liked. Granted, I don't think all the time I was like mad or felt peer pressured to do things. I don't think I was necessarily peer pressured. I think that I wanted to do it or felt like I wanted to do it because I wanted to be more likable. I wanted to fit in more with my friend group. And to be honest, I enjoyed doing those things for my friends. I enjoyed giving all of my energy and being the goofy one that people could, you know, seek fun with. I feel like I was the fun friend. And I didn't mind that title at all. Again, I feel like I kind of almost put myself in that position willingly because I was really happy with my friends and it like sparked being with friends sparked this kind of excitement in me. And I wouldn't want to waste the moment. I wouldn't want to just I in a way it could have just been me trying to escape reality. I felt like life was too serious and I wanted something interesting and I needed something interesting to happen and I needed to have fun all the time. I felt like if I wasn't happy or laughing or cracking a joke, then it wasn't a good time. I almost felt like I couldn't be serious. And these were like genuine things that I thought. And I was almost like, why is life so serious? Why are we just not laughing and cracking jokes and having fun all the time and making like inappropriate jokes all the time? Like I just wanted to have fun. And I think it took me a while to get out of my childhood phase, my youth phase. I think I was like a very big slow burner when it came to maturing. Like I do think that I had sense. I knew what I was doing. I wasn't not self-aware. I always feel like I was a very self-aware person, but I still just craved it could be attention. I did really like attention. I would say that is a big factor in why I acted the way I acted. I also knew that it put a smile on people's faces and I liked to see their reaction and I liked to see them joke along with me, play along with me, and I just knew that I'd have a good time and we'd all have a good time if we were laughing more. Which I think, looking back at it, there were some good moments, And did I will say that I did enjoy being the class clown, or the clown of the group. You know, it was fun. And honestly, I think that was just my personality. And there's nothing wrong with doing that and being that person if you're that person. But on the other end of it, too, there were moments when you get looked down on and people see you as less of, people don't value you as much, people feel like they can disrespect you more because you're this goofy funny person. They almost get this perception of you like, oh, she's not the sharpest tool in the shed, or they're not bright, or they're not smart, intelligent, they don't really have anything going for them, they're just like the funny one. It's so much easier to get picked on and to get looked down upon when you're the funny one. But hey, you get attention. Hey, you get all these people laughing with you, and you get to know that people will look for you for a fun time. But when it comes to more serious matters, or when it comes to voicing your opinion in a serious situation, or when you want people to take your side on things, they will look the other way. It's easier for them to look the other way. I feel like true friends that actually know you, not just for you being funny and for you cracking jokes, but they know you more personally. They know who you are on the inside, and they know that you have feelings as well. You're a normal person. You crack jokes to make other people smile, or maybe it's for attention, but at the same time, like, you're still a person and you still deserve to be valued and be seen as a normal person, a normal human being with feelings. And a lot of the time, they even say too that the person who's always smiling, or the person who's always cracking jokes and the funny one, is always the one struggling the most. And that might not always be true, but again, it could just be a coping mechanism in seeing like the beauty, or like shedding light on a damp or dark situation. And a lot of people just want to escape reality. They want to escape the negative things going on, and they find like a safe place or a safe environment where they can just escape that and be funny and not think of life too seriously, because maybe they've always had to think of life too seriously, or they've always been put in these traumatic or negative situations where they can't be a kid. They can't feel like they can say anything or do anything, and they can't feel like they can express themselves. A lot of the times, too, people may decide that they're comfortable in a certain group. When you meet friends and you become closer and you're more comfortable with them, you start to show more of who you actually are, and out of like a firm foundation that they won't judge you or leave you based on who you actually are. You start opening up more, and you start to be yourself, or maybe what you think is yourself. And that in itself is a good thing. If you feel like you can open up to your friends because they won't judge you, and depending on how they react to you, that will show you if they're good friends that you should be keeping, or if they're ones that don't respect you and only see you as like an object, or only see you as this. They don't see you as an actual person that they should respect and of value. They see you as something that they can nitpick, they can pick at, they can poke at all your insecurities and all the things that, they don't like about you. Something that they can take things from you. They're so easy to take from you. Like, you almost seem more of a asset in terms of like what can they take from you. And a lot of people will take advantage of you and stomp on you when you give them a chance. And so you have to be careful when you are the one that's like the most lighthearted, the funny one. You do have to be careful. And I've had my fair share of being looked down upon. I was never like bullied or anything like too severe, but I was definitely looked down upon and I was judged for who I was at the time. And that is a consequence that I've had to suffer from being that, lighthearted person. But I did also have friends, and I still have friends to this day that I still keep around, and they are still valuable friends to me because they didn't just see me as that kind of person. They saw me as a person who should be valued, and they saw me as this light in a dark tunnel that is shedding light everywhere. And I value those friends, and those are friends that you should make sure to keep in contact with, especially after times like even in high school too. When you leave high school and you go to this different universities and you split up with your friends, that is the time to tell yourself and ask yourself, who do I want to keep around? Who do I not want to be friends with? Because now you actually have the opportunity to ditch some friends that are not good for you and keep the friends that are good for you and that have always seen the good in you and who's always been good to you as a friend, and they don't just see you as one thing. That is the time. Don't keep friends around that haven't been good to you, because you know how they see you and where you stand with them. So when you get older and you're not forced to be in the same classrooms, the same area, in the same friend group as those friends who have never seen anything good in you or who love to tear you down, maybe because of their own insecurities or maybe because even you seem more happy than them. They love to tear you down and use you and take advantage of you and almost spit on you. Then you can decide to walk away from them when you move on with life. And if they made you feel insecure about anything, I think use that as fuel. For me too, if I was ever looked down upon, you always care about that stuff. You always want to be liked. You always want to almost do better than what people are kind of not seeing in you. If someone doesn't see the value in you, or if someone is saying, "Oh, you can't do this," you want to prove them wrong, right? But for me, it's not that I didn't care about that. It's that if someone looked down on me and thought I couldn't do something, I tried my best to not care about what they think. Because ultimately, yeah, like you should not care what other people think about you. And you should only really focus on yourself and uplift people when, they've done something good. But also only really think about yourself and where you are. If you fail at something and people are telling you that you couldn't do it, you try harder. And not just because you want to prove them wrong, but because you want to prove to yourself that you can do it. And all you can really do is trust in yourself and believe in yourself. You're your own like enemy and your own hero. You can save yourself and you can break yourself. It's really only up to you. And you also have free will. People can peer pressure you and say whatever they want and manipulate you and try to get you to do what they want you to do. But in the end, you're your own person, and it's really hard to deny peer pressure, and you want to fit in, you want to be liked. But again, it's really important to not lose yourself in the crowd, and it's really important to be your own person and make sure that you set not rules for yourself, not barriers, but you really tell yourself, who am I? What do I want to do right now? Not what everyone else wants to do. And this is really hard, especially when you're young and you want to fit in. Like, say you're at a party and you don't want to drink, but everyone else wants you to drink and they're all drinking, and you don't want to, like, not fit in that moment. Like, do the thing that you know is right. Do it with caution, do it in moderation. Don't go overboard with it, and make sure that you're comfortable. And that's really the best you can do. I know, like, honestly, like, peer pressuring and wanting to fit in is a big part of growing up. And I think that's so normal. And I don't think that we should completely disregard normal things that people experience growing up, especially when I'm going to get into like parenting and stuff like that, but especially when parents like to hold back things from their kids. We all know that our parents were young too. They were once our age. They wanted to experience all of this as well. And I know, like, a lot of parents too, they don't want us to end up like them. Or not that maybe they didn't go down the wrong path, but they don't want us to make the same mistakes at our age that they did at our age. So they're just trying to really set firm rules with us and be strict and say, no, you can't go here, no, you can't do this. And while I feel like those things are important in certain, like, situations, especially if it's really dangerous, if it's really harmful, if it's going to get you into trouble or other people into trouble, there has to be some firm, strict rules that go into that, and you can't do this. And, especially if it's like illegal or anything like that, that can get you into like serious trouble. But in terms of wanting to experience things as a kid that we all are curious about or were curious about, I think that they should handle that in moderation and try to measure out the situation so that we don't feel deprived of wanting to be curious about it. We don't feel deprived in that we're missing out. Because honestly, if we are told that we're not allowed to do something, some people will rebel and do it anyways. And then they'll go in blind, and then they'll get themselves into trouble. So I think everything in terms of things that we're curious about or things that seem forbidden to us, like, we should handle it in moderation. And ultimately, it does come down to like safety and what the outcome or the circumstance will be in the end. We really have to think about that too. But I think that ultimately we should explore as safely and as much as we can. And it's hard for us not to fall into that crowd or people pleasing tendency. And it was hard for me, and it still is hard for me, but this is something that I'm trying to overcome. And not everyone struggles with this. A lot of people set boundaries with themselves and other people immediately. We're all different, but I know that falling into the crowd and getting lost in the crowd, like wanting to fit in, these kind of things, I've definitely struggled with growing up, and I'm still learning now. But here's your sign to not get lost in the crowd. Just remember, even if you don't know who you are, think about what you want and what you need in the moment in any setting, whether it's with friends, family, relatives, like anyone, even if it's by yourself. Don't pressure yourself and lose yourself just because other people or something else is trying to get you to not do something you're not comfortable with doing or not do something you don't want to do. So just really pause and think to yourself. Go to the bathroom, take a break, literally walk away for a bit and decide what you want to do in that moment and just go with your gut because you know yourself the most and you know what you want out of things and what you want to do that will ultimately be the best decision for you. And in any moment, not everyone has to like you. And I know sometimes that might be hard for us to understand. And it is what it is most of the time. Not everyone's gonna like us, even if we're the most positive person ever. As you grow up too, you will get a lot more experiences with talking to people, meeting new people. Hopefully, like even if you go to university, you're going to meet a lot of people and you're not always going to be their close friends. A lot of people you're just going to stay acquaintances with. You're just going to meet in that moment and never see them again, or you're going to see them one day after like such a long time. You just had one conversation, you guys say hi to each other. Like you might develop a friendship from there, or you might just see them once or twice and pass by them and never see them. You're going to be meeting a lot of new people and seeing a lot of new faces. And those people, maybe even right off the bat, they don't like you. They could get like a bad first impression from you and you didn't even do anything. You just sat there and they got a bad vibe from you. But not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone you meet's going to like you. You're not going to make friends with everyone. In those moments too, stay true to yourself and keep your head up. Don't fall into this insecurity or this self-consciousness. Be confident, or try to be confident as you can, because I think that really shows. And when people, even right off the bat, see who you really are and know that you're confident and you know who you are, they're going to respect you more. They're going to approach you with more respect, and they're going to approach you with more, they're going to see you as more valuable, as a person that is equal to them, as a person who is eye level. They can see eye to eye. And if they try to disrespect you, don't let them. This is like, I feel like it's hard to exude confidence, especially when you have so many insecurities. And but no one knows your insecurities, especially if they don't know you. I feel like a lot of times too, we also think that people can see right through us. But honestly, I think people see us differently than how we see ourselves. We have to live with ourselves every hour and every second of the day. And there's a lot of people out there that don't know who we are and don't know what we're like and what we're insecure about. And again, there can be things that other people see in you that they don't like, physically, personality wise, mentally. Like, people, we judge everyone. Everyone we walk past, we judge them. Whether it's something good, we can say something good, we can say something bad. We judge people. And some people will love your hair and other people will hate your hair. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we really can't be controlling how other people think. We can only control what we see in ourselves. We can change things we don't like about ourselves, we can leave things. We just have to be true to ourselves and know what we want and think about what we want. And it's all about self discovery and self identity, self journey. I feel like that's a big part of life, and that's what we're all searching for. And I don't think it comes easy to a lot of people, and that's fine. But really, just focusing on ourselves and being our own person is how we're ultimately going to, I think, come together as a society, as species on earth. Like, we just have to be true to ourselves, and we have our own opinions, we have our own thoughts about it, about things. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to not do what everyone else wants to do. It's okay to not fit in. It's okay to be unique. It's okay to be yourself, because there's a lot of people out there that are similar to us. We probably just haven't met them yet. And I think there's a lot of people that we're meant to find that are similar to us and that is meant to be in our lives, or that's meant to teach us things. I also do believe that too. And I guess from personal experience, I've met a lot of like minded people, and I'm really grateful that I've met these people because I see the similarities and I also see the differences. And seeing those similarities too also does help me to see that, in a sense, I do fit in somewhere, and you will always fit in somewhere. There's no doubt about that. We're all humans living on this earth. We have different backgrounds, different opinions, different lives, but we all fit in somewhere, and we all fit in within ourselves. And I think it's great that we're all different in some way. We're not all the same. We're not all copies of each other. That would not go well in life. Like, we're all different, and we're meant to bring those new experiences. We're meant to highlight things that other people might be insecure about, or other people might be struggling with. We're meant to highlight these things. We're meant to speak about these things. We're meant to bring awareness to these things so that other people know that they're not alone, and they fit in, and that they don't need to lose themselves in other people or in other things or in other habits to feel like they're part of something. It's fine and it's okay to not fit in and not be a part of something. And this is, I think, a hard thing to grasp even for myself. So I need to take my own advice. But ultimately, I think this is something that we're learning. And some people may know who they are, and you'll have friends or family members who have known since they were born, and you'll have others who still are at like the bottom level. They don't know anything. And we're all like developing and growing in our different ways, and we're all at our different stages. And it's fine to learn at our own pace, because there's so much to life that we don't know about, and there's so much to experience and explore, and there's so much more to know about things. And honestly, it's not true. It's not guaranteed that we're all right about something. We can know information about things, but that doesn't mean that we know everything, that we know all there is to know. I even think they say that the more you know about something, the less you know about it. I think sometimes we just assume that we know a lot, but it really just comes with life experience. And I think the way that we really get to know about things and what things are like is if we experience it. We can do as much research as we can talk about it, but the only way we'll get to know things is by experiencing it. And again, each of our experiences can be differently. We can interpret it differently. We can take different things that we've learned and make a summary of it, and it will all be different for each of us. But again, we just have to focus on ourselves, and we just have to take our own interpretations of things and make it our own. And that's ultimately how you're going to find yourself and be a little bit closer to understanding who you are and what you want out of this life, what you want out of your life, and what you need to bring to this life, and what you need to bring to this earth in total. So, yes, this is your sign to not be lost in the crowd, and don't lose yourself. Stay true to yourself, know who you are, figure out who you are, take the time to learn yourself, because even when you find someone that really cares about you or who you love, maybe it's like romantic, maybe it's a friend, you would want them to learn more about you so that they can, like, that shows that they care about you, is when they learn more about you and they learn what you like, what you don't like. You want someone to do that for you, so you need to do that for yourself. And you kind of just have to learn to love yourself. Try to love your flaws as much as you can. If changing yourself is what you need to do, then try to take those steps, or see how it is taking those steps to change, and try to pursue it again if it's right for you. But ultimately, this takes a lot of thought, and I don't think a lot of the times decisions should just be made on a whim. They can be, and if it's a gut feeling, or if you feel like you need to do this, or if you have a good feeling about it, by all means go for it. But most or some situations, they take the longer route, and you need to really think about it, and you need to experience things, you need to explore things, you need to do things that you're not comfortable with, to know how you feel in that situation, to know if that is something that should have happened, if that's something you want to do again. And yeah, that's basically how we're all going to find ourselves. And I stand by that.